Hi, Miss Hoover here for another week of Fluency task cards. First off, let's give you a round of applause for logging on and practicing your fluency. Nicely done. Today we are going to, or this week actually, we're going to feature the novel Harry Potter. And this comes from the first book. You're going to dip your toe into the first chapter, and you won't finish the whole chapter, but if you like the beginning of this book, let me know so I can get you a copy. The expectation is you're reading your cards each day this week. Monday and Tuesday might be a little rough, but by Friday, you're going to be reading those cards like a fluent reader. Remember, you do need to turn in a summary to me, but that can be any time. It could be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, or Thursday, and I will model that at the end of this video. Let's review what fluent readers do. So fluent readers, they read accurately. They're not stumbling over their words. They're making sure they're taking the time to read it right. They read with expression, so they're fluctuating their voices. They don't sound like a robot. They read smooth, and they notice punctuation, which I'll model in the next slide. And they comprehend what they read. If you are just flying through the task cards and have no idea what you even read, then there was no point in reading it. So we want to make sure we're comprehending as well as modeling and practicing great fluency. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to model task card number 1. And just like I did in week 1, I kind of highlighted all the commas and the punctuation, just so you can be mindful, especially on that first practice run, of where you need to pause and where you need to stop. So here we go. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4, Privet Drive, were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. They were the last people you'd expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. So see how I messed up there, but I went back? You can do the same thing. Mr. Dursley was the director of a firm called Grunnings, which made drills. He was a big, beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large mustache. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over the garden fences, spying on the neighbors. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion, there was no finer boy anywhere. The Dursleys had everything they wanted, but they also had a secret, and their greatest fear was that somebody would discover it. They didn't think they could bear it if anyone found out about the Potters. Mrs. Potter was Mrs. Dursley's sister, but they hadn't met for several years. In fact, Mrs. Dursley pretended she didn't have a sister, because her sister and her good-for-nothing husband were as un-Dursleyish as it was possible to be. So those are going to be your 5 task cards for this week. Now, when you get to this, remember I'm going to kind of model this procedure again, and I will go over mine at the end. So there's only going to be a couple more weeks of me providing the answers. So make sure you're getting this template and this strategy down. So great readers summarize. So the first part that we're going to use from the Writing Revolution book is we are just going to use a few words, and we're going to kind of map out what we read, okay? So what I want you to do is map out the who, what, when, where, why, and how. And remember, you might not use all of them. So if one's like really getting you stuck, skip it. I didn't use all of them in mine. So go ahead and fill that out. And then what you're going to do, is you're going to do a summary sentence and complete sentences, which is why we have the solid lines here. So here you're just putting a few words for each, and then you're going to go and put them into complete sentences. So let me model an example for you. So when I went through this, I said, who were they talking about was the Dursleys, and they wanted to keep their secret. It didn't tell me when. They didn't set that part up in the setting yet, but I do know where, and that was number 4, a Privet Drive. They had a secret, and they were trying to keep it by not associating with her sister, and her is Mrs. Dursley in this sense. So my final summary would be, the Dursleys of Privet Drive number 4 had a secret they did not want anyone to know. Mrs. Dursley did not interact with her sister's husband, or their son, because she was afraid that the neighbors would discover their secret. So compare yours with mine. Make sure you got all those components. Mine is not A++ work. It was just kind of my interpretation of it. And remember, we might have a couple different things here, but as long as we both have the same main idea, that's what's going to matter for summarizing. Once you finish that, go ahead and turn it in to me. And thanks for investing in yourself, and you're on your way to better fluency. Thanks for watching.